Welcome to AP Stats. This is day 3 homework. First of all, I want to show you a little paper. I'm going to send this home with you tomorrow, but this is a small paper here. It talks about homework. I'm just going to read it real quick. The homework is given to you to give you the opportunity to practice and master the concepts that are talked about in class. It is completely different to do the problems yourself and work through them than to follow my directions during class. I ask that each night you take the responsibility and the time necessary to complete the problems. What I'm asking for is roughly about 60 minutes of completed homework through 60 nights of the semester. It is proven that this time at home will be needed to help you complete the course satisfactorily. With our goal of a high score on the AP exam and college credit, this is a crucial step of meeting our goal. It's also easy to take one night off and fall behind. The issue is that you may never catch up. One night is crucial to the completion of this course, and in last year's AP Statistics, students, they wrote a reflection of things that they wanted to share with you the following year's class, and here are a few of those that I'll point out. This is advice from the student. So number 1 says the homework helps your understanding a lot. You can't just watch and get it. You really have to do it and then come to class the next day prepared with questions. If you don't do the problems each night, you won't know what you need to ask and you'll get lost because things move quickly. If you don't ask, the teacher can't read your mind and know what you're doing or where you need clarification on or what you have questions on. This is a college course and you have to take charge of your learning, but you signed up for this, so you need to give it the time it needs and deserves. That means at least 30 minutes every night, mostly 60. You also really need to use the textbook. Unlike any other math book before, read it, take notes from it, and know what parts the teacher is covering each day. A second advice from a different student is the advice I would give to next year's AP Stats students would be to do all of your homework and to pay attention in class. It is ridiculous how often students miss stuff they should know because it was covered in class and they didn't take good notes. Nothing that happens in class is unimportant. Every single detail matters. So that's just a sheet I'll be passing those out, but I just thought you'd want to know that. Next, this is the quiz, so I'll be looking at that in just a little bit. But with the quiz, we're going to go over a few things about it at the end. So I'm going to go over the homework questions first, and then we'll get to the quiz. Number 26 is where we'll start with our homework. It says the buying power of a dollar changes over time. The Bureau of Labor Statistics measures the cost of a market basket of goods and services to compile its consumer price index. If the consumer price index is 120, goods and services that cost $100 now cost $120. Here are the yearly average values of the CPI for years between 1970 and 1999. The base period is the years 1982 to 1984. So if you look, we'll look at what the CPI is, or the Consumer Price Index, and they give you a table starting at 1970 going all the way to 1999. Now most of those years other than 1999, they go up by 2. So what we're going to do, construct a graph. Now realize we're getting to further in the chapter. Now they don't tell you what kind of graph to construct, but when you see years, you should construct a time plot. So you're going to think, I saw years, so what should I do? I should do a time plot because it's giving me an amount of time. Next, after you construct a time plot with the years going across and the CPI going up and down. Now notice your CPI, you can start at around 30 and you can end at around 170. If you want to go up by 10 each time, go up by 20 each time maybe, but make sure you can do it accurately. A lot of you need to watch your labeling of your graphs. I graded your first 2 homeworks and the labeling. You're drawing the graph, you're writing the numbers, but you're not labeling anything. I have no idea what the title of the graph is. I have no idea what you're talking about on the x-axis. I have no idea what you're talking about on the y-axis. So make sure you're labeled. Now, part B says check your graph by doing the plot on the calculator. So a time plot on the calculator is where we put all the years in L1 and we put all the CPI numbers in L2. Then we turn the stat plot on, so second stat plot or second y equals, and you turn on number 1 and number 2. Actually, you only have to turn on number 1 for this one. But when you turn on number 1, you'll go into the stat plot, and you want to find the one that shows the XY line, and you can kind of see it. It looks like a line graph or a time plot. You're going to use L1 as the first list and L2 as the second list, and you're going to hit zoom 9 to look at your graph. And it should be similar to the one you just drew. What was the overall trend in prices during the period? So tell that. Were there any years in where the trend was reversed? So were any years kind of out of line in the time plot? And then part D, in what period were prices rising the fastest and when were they rising the slowest? So analyze your graph, basically write a conclusion. That's what we're doing in the last two parts of that question. Okay, moving on to number 27. 27 says numerical data can distinguish different types of writing and sometimes even individual authors. Here's data on the percent of words of 1 to 15 letters used in Popular Science magazine. So you have lengths of letters, their average length of the word, how many letters it has. It goes all the way from 1 to 15, and you got percentages. So they basically, what they have done is they have done the frequency table for you in this histogram. So you're going to make a histogram. The lengths are going to be the x-axis or the bottom, and the percentages are going to be the y-axis or the top. And make sure you do your percentages correctly. You can start at 0 and go to about 20 because I don't see any numbers above 18.7 on the y-axis. Now, a histogram, some of you, again, on your homework, I'm going to touch on some problems. You did not connect the bars. So a histogram, the bars must be connected. It's completely different from a bar graph, so make sure you're doing that correctly as well. Part B, or in part A, describe the shape, center, and spread. That's the SOX shape, outlier, center, spread. Remember shape, it's either roughly symmetric, skewed left, or skewed right. Outliers, you now know how to find an outlier